The old Draft League City broadcasting station. Weren't much to look at anymore, but something was telling me it would get me answers. The place looked like it had been deserted for a bit, but not long. There were still active computers and displays, but nobody was home. Didn't take me all that long of snooping around to see a little something that caught my attention on one of the screens. Ain't no way I was gonna leave this one unchecked. This was some troubling shit. Clearly, someone didn't want Coach Shroom going far in the NX games. At least it proved the theory correct that someone had been messing with the battles. Looked like I was gonna need some help from an expert in the field. Hello everyone, Shroomraver here, and today we are back for battle number 2 from PPL NX Stage 2. Yes indeed, now last time we got off to a great start with a big revenge win over Gravy. And today we have another revenge battle on our hands as we are going to be taking on Lux and the Hangzhou Sparkling Aria. I think that's being said correctly. Anyway, their links down in the description below. Make sure you check them out along with everyone else in our sort of division slash group. Last time we faced off against Lux was a long time ago. It was in my first season back to Draft League in PPL Bolton Flare. We needed the win to guarantee ourselves playoffs, and unfortunately a very well played Endure Salakberry reversal Mienshao counterswept us at the end to knock us out. Lux then going on to win the entire season. So it is a big revenge story here. The team we're going up against consists of Garchomp, Darkrai, Jirachi, Iron Moth, Hisuian Electrode, Clefable, Electros, Sinistra, Munchlax, Volbeat, Quaquaval, and Phanpy. The things that can Terra on Lux's team are the Hisuian Electrode, Electros, Munchlax, Volbeat, and Phanpy. So, a lot of powerful threats going on there. Some nasty things that we don't like taking on, and some very good Terra captaincy options there too. So, we are going to be starting off our team with a very offensive heavy-duty boots Terapagos. Coming here, max special attack, modest, 228 in speed. Terra Starstorm, Dark Pulse, Calm Mind, and Rock Polish. Rock Polish Terapagos can outspeed everything going on Lux's team. With a Calm Mind up, we're looking to do a massive amount of damage. The only resistances to Terra Starstorm are going to be the Jirachi and the Sinistra, both of which get smacked up by a Dark Pulse. So Terapagos is looking to be a late game sweeper here. Avoid any hazards with those boots, try and get up a Rock Polish, maybe a Calm Mind if possible, and try and sweep through whatever's left. After the rest of our team has done a lot of work, hopefully, and that starts off with Assault Vest Primarina. Max HP with investment in special attack, special events, and speed, just to creep some counter creepers. Moonblast, Hydro Pump, Shadow Ball, and Flip Turn on there. The AV looking to try and let us take some hits from the likes of Darkrai, Iron Moth, Hisuian Electrode. Like, we'll take one hit from any of those and try and get big damage off with Moonblast and Hydro, or just Flip Turn on out of there. There are seagulls in the background, there are alarms going off, it is noisy. Shut up, seagulls. But we are going in with our third member of the team, and that is going to be Lumberry Haxorus. Mold Breaker on there to get round the likes of Unaware Clefable. We have Dragonclaw, Earthquake, Ironhead, and Dragon Dance. Looking to outspeed every single member of Lux's team after a DD with 160 in speed, Jolly Nature. You know, it's a Haxorus, it's a Dragon Dance Haxorus, it does what it says on the tin. It sets up a Dragon Dance, hopefully, and just hits things really hard indeed to make way for the likes of Terapagos. But we do want to get some chip damage on a few things, and one of the things that's looking to get, you know, good chip in various places is going to be Sugarberry Overquill. We are Terra Dark on this, I believe. Yes, we are Terra Dark, yep. Sugarberry on there, because this is hopefully what I'm going to use to take on the Garchomp. Now, Lux loves their bulky Swords Dance Garchomp, so we have Sugarberry to tank an Earthquake. We are very, very mixed in our EVs. Like, we've got investment all over the place, mostly in physical defense. We're actually running a, I don't even know what nature that is. It is a lax nature, which is an odd one, but we have lowered special defense, but with some investment in there to bring us back up. We've got Gunk Shot, Crunch, Ice Beam, and Swords Dance. SD, Gunk, and Crunch can do a lot of work to Lux's team, but we have the Ice Beam tacked on there because this will 2-hit KO max HP Garchomp. Tank an Earthquake with a Shuka and try and get that thing out of there. After that, we have some much more normal sets going on with our mostly designated Terra Captain for the week, and that is going to be Terraghost Breloom. We have the loaded dice. We are an Adamant Nature, but with max speed as well, outpacing the likes of the Quaquaval, I believe. We have Bullet Seed, Mach Punch, Terra Blast, and Bulldoze. It might not be the Quaquaval where I'm speeding, actually. There is definitely something there. It could be like a non-investment on Jirachi, for example. But loaded dice Bullet Seed goes pretty hard. Mach Punch really good for picking off weakened Darkrai's, Hisuian Electrodes, things like that. Terra Blast Ghost is really the only thing we have to hit the Sinistcha. So that's kind of what we're going with there. It also is going to do really nicely against that Rachi. And we have Bulldoze to try and get some speed control going. We can go Terraghost on the Iron Moth if they're going to try and lock in on Sludge Wave, and we can resist that and then start going for Bulldozes and try and take them out from there. I said that Overquill was Terra Dark, but as I may have mentioned, we can have as many Terra Captains as we want in the squads, but you're only allowed to designate 2 for any given battle. Breloom is going to be one of mine. The Overquill is actually not, because our secondary Terra Captain is the last member of our team, Terra Flying Scyther. We are a heavy duty boot set here with dual wing beat, bug bite, U-turn, and agility. This is another option as a late game cleaner. If we can get an agility up, outspeed every single member of our opponent's team. And Terra Flying dual wing beat actually goes really hard into Lux. The only things that are resisting that are going to be the Jirachi, which doesn't particularly want to take a Technician Bug Bite, or we can just U-turn out on it. And indeed the Electros, which again is something we're going to want to U-turn out into something else. But yeah, if we don't want to use our Terraghost on Breloom, then we can go Terra Flying Dual Wing Beat on Scyther and try and do big damage to Lux's team. So that is what we are going into this battle with. Let's go over to the battle screen and see what Lux has decided to bring against us. So, as you can see, Lux has decided to bring Hisuian Electrode, Sinistcha, Garchomp, Darkrai, Iron Moth, and Quaquaval. So, all the big hitters are here. The only Terra Captain on Lux's side is that Hisuian Electrode, which is going to be Terra Fire for this game. Now, I am here just going to lead with my Haxorus. Electrode is a fairly standard-looking potential lead here. There's no Clefable, which is super nice. So if they want to lead with that Electrode, get the Terra off as early as poss, and maybe try and, Thunder Wave our Haxorus, we can go for a Dragon Dance and heal it off with the Lumberry and start doing huge damage really early game. So here we go, Battle 2 of PPL NX Stage 2 against Lux and the Hangzhou Sparkling Aria. They are going to be leading here with the Quaquaval, as I'm going to go with my Haxorus. Now, I've got a bit of physical defense investment, but I don't want to be setting up a Dragon Dance on this thing right now. Quaquaval is a potential late game cleaner for Lux. So what I actually want to do is just gauge how much damage it can do, try and find out a bit more information about the set. So I'm not going to go for a Dragon Dance turn 1, I am just going to go for Dragon Claw, try and get some good, meaningful damage into the Quaquaval, and see where we go from there. So, gonna lock in on Dragon Claw, do just under half to the Quaquaval, who is gonna go for close combat, and clean, turn 1, take out Haxorus. That is not the greatest start in the world to a match, but what it does do is give us several pieces of vital information about this Quaquaval. Number 1, it's bulky. It should have taken more damage than that. Number 2, it's choice banded. There's no other way it could have taken me out from full. And number 3, as you might have seen there, it's not Moxie, it's Torrent, which is interesting. Not often that you see non-Moxie builds of Quaquaval, but that means it's been done for a specific reason. potentially just a specific breaking lead, which it's done quite well here. So, we've got some very good information on this Quaquaval, but even though it's banded, like this close combat is not going to be taking out Primarina from here. And if it is indeed a breaker, then potentially Lux is going to want to save it. So my play here is to just go for the flip turn as the Quaquaval hopefully switches out. So, the Quaquaval is indeed going to get on out of there for Lux, doesn't want to take a potential Moonblast, and it is going to be the Sinistcha who comes in. We're going to flip turn on out and do absolutely nothing to Sinistcha, very obviously, but this is a very good potential time for me to try and get Scyther activated. As you can see, with no Jirachi and with no Electros, there is absolutely no resistances to my dual Wing Beat from Scyther. So there is a chance here that we can come in and just dish out massive damage to something. So, Scyther is going to hit the field. Now, I'm not going to Terra off the bat. I do want to try and gauge where I might need to Terra on Breloom later on down the line. So, what I'm going to do is just lock in on dual Wing Beat. I have no reason not to do this. There is nothing on Lux's team that wants to take this hit. Anything that will take one has a very high chance of not taking two. So I'm just going to go for the dual Wing Beat. If this thing isn't very, very physically defensive, even without going Terra Flying, this will KO the Sinistcha, and I really don't think Lux wants that to happen right now. So the best bet really for them is to go into Garchomp if it's bulky. But once again, we know that Lux likes to use it as a Swords Dance sweeper, so might not want to go there either. So, Lux is going to make the play of going into the Hisuian Electrode. Now, this will take the hit neutrally, but it's still going to do a lot. As you see, Dual Wing Beat comes in, and that is going to do nearly all of the damage. Nearly all of the damage to the Electrode. Really good stuff. Getting that horribly weakened is going to be incredibly useful to me. But I don't want to stay on with Scyther. Looking at the team comp the Lux has brought, like I say, Dual Wing Beat can do a whole huge amount of damage to a lot of things, so I do want to keep Scyther as healthy as possible, and try and find a middle ground switch to go into on the Hisuian Electrode. Now, that middle ground switch for me is going to be my Breloom. I don't think they're going to want to go Terra Fire here immediately, and as you'll see, it's actually going to be Reflect that comes out. Very good bring on Lux's part. I have some premier physical hitters still left on my team, even without Haxorus. So, I am just going to go for the Mach Punch here. It is very telegraphed, but what I don't want is them going Terra Fire now and smacking me up with a Terra Blast. That would be no bueno. So, even though the Sinistcha switch is fairly obvious, I am just going to make the obvious play and go for Mach Punch and try and take out this Electrode. And Lux is indeed going to make that series of plays. They are going to withdraw the Electrode and get on out of there, back into the Sinistcha, which Mach Punch is going to do nothing to. Now, I do have the Terra Blast with Terra Ghost, but there's a Reflect up, and we all know how physically bulky Sinistcha can be, so realistically, that's not going to be my correct play, going for the Terra Blast here. I'm going to have to try and make another mid-ground, and honestly, it's going to have to be the Overquill here. That is going to be my best middle ground play to try and take on this guy. If they want to go for the Strength Sap, so be it. I do have Swords Dance to mitigate that. If they go for the Burn with Machigotcha, that could be a little bit more problematic. But we're just going to have to try and work around that. I need solid damage on this Sinistcha. So, I'm going to make the play of getting out of there with my Breloom, and I am going to go into my Overquill right about now. Get the Intimidate, that is not going to matter, and it's especially not going to matter because they withdraw. Now, that means we know Breloom is faster than Sinistcha, but as you'll see, in is going to come the Garchomp. This is actually really quite good for us. Lux has made a very good prediction, knowing this is the play I'm going to make. Get in with Garchomp after the Intimidate. But this is actually what the matchup we wanted. I brought this Overquill for the Garchomp, so I'm just going to go for the Ice Beam here and try and get some good damage. They're going to outspeed and go for Stealth Rocks, I guess, predicting my switch out probably into Primarina. But, as you'll see, going to go for the Ice Beam, and there is the Yachi Berry. Good build on Lux's part, and that does not a huge amount of damage. Looking to have some bulk investment here on the Garchomp, and that looked to be quite a low roll anyway. But I have a Sugar Berry for this exact purpose, so I'm actually just going to stay in and go for Ice Beam. Trading Overquill for Garchomp is something I will take all day, every day. So, here comes the Earthquake from Garchomp. We're going to eat the Resist Berry of our own. Earthquake going to come in and do just under half to my Overquill, as I am going to go for the second Ice Beam. And after getting quite a low roll on the first one, this is going to get a much more favourable one and just KO the Garchomp from there. Really happy about that. Garchomp goes down. Overquill claims the first KO for us of the game. So, back in for Lux comes the Quaquaval, and I don't have all that much that wants to take all that many hits from this guy, but I can still see potential use for Overquill later on down the line. The best thing I have to take a stab hit is going to be my Primarina, or so I thought. I'm going to go into my Prim, save my Overquill for later. I'm at nearly full health. I'm thinking I should be able to take at least one. In comes the Close Combat, and my god, that does so much damage. Underestimating the power of Adamant Max Invested Choice Banded Quaquaval, that is not great for me. However, I don't have to let anything go just yet. Because I didn't Terra earlier on my Scyther, that is still going to be quad resistant. So even though this is a Choice Banded Close Combat, Scyther's actually going to take it really well. And with my boots, obviously I'm not going to be taking that Stealth Rock damage. So, my play here is to go into my my Scyther, save Primarina for later to maybe get off a big hit against something, or indeed just sack it off later on down the line. But, like I say, Scyther is going to be the play here, tank the hit, and then it's going to be dual Wing Beat time. So, going to get on out of there, as I say, with my Prim, and go into the Scyther. Still at full health. Still boots, not taking that rocks damage. Here comes that Close Combat, and as you see, quad resistant, it still does like a good chunk of damage, because Quaquaval is a powerhouse. But now we're once again back in this position, where Scyther effectively here just claims a kill. There's nothing that switches into dual Wing Beat. I consider the U-turn, but realistically, dual Wing Beat is always going to be the play, because effectively, something is dying here. So, Quaquaval once again is going to be withdrawn, and Lux is going to go into the Sinistra. We're going to go for dual Wing Beat. We are unfortunately going to miss. However, if this thing is not massively physically defensive, that isn't going to matter a jot, because we're still in this position where I outspeed, and I am just going to click dual Wing Beat. There is no Reflect anymore, which is super nice. That has run out. So dual Wing Beat, once again, is going to claim a kill no matter what happens. And here it comes. Dual Wing Beat going to come in, and as you see, that is a clean Oko from that range onto the Sinistra. That crit in the end didn't matter, and Sinistra goes down. Scyther claims its first KO of the season, and very crucially, that one singular resistance or immunity to normal is now gone. With this guy out of the way, it's really looking to pave the way for late game work by Terapagos. In is going to come the Electrode. Now, I still see a lot of use for Scyther here. There's a lot of stuff it can do. It can potentially take a hit still from a couple of things. It can come in on revenges from the likes of Quaquaval and do a goodly amount of work. So, not necessarily wanting to stay in here. But the other thing is, of course, those screens. This thing has already shown Reflect. It could well be Light Screen as well. My best middle ground is going to be once again going into my Breloom. I don't see the case for it terroring here, the Electrode. So, going to get out of there with Scyther, still seeing a good amount of use for it potentially. And I'm going to go into my Breloom, see if I can get that guy activated. Lux is just going to make the Volt Switch play. No reason for them not to. I don't have an immunity to it, and the switch on my side was fairly obvious, knowing that Scyther could put in a lot of work. But now Breloom is faced with the task of taking on one of the big hitters to come in for Lux. Doesn't look to be Quaquaval, and I don't know whether they would want to risk the Mach Punch into Darkrai, so Iron Moth is looking like the play, and given that Quaquaval was looking to be a breaker of some kind, and Garchomp was setting up rocks, Iron Moth could be their endgame option, so if that's the case, they might have to go for it here, and that is not something I want to be dealing with. So, as you'll see, in is going to come the Iron Moth. Now, I have Primarina that can take Fiery Dances, so I'm rather thinking they might want to just go for the Sludge Wave here. So, my play that I'm going to make is to Terra up with Breloom, go Terra Ghost, on the off chance that they do indeed go for that Sludge Wave, and I'm going to click Bulldoze and try and 1v1 this thing. So, I am going to go Terra Ghost on Breloom, and it's about now that I realise there's no sense in Lux going for Sludge Wave, predicting the Primarina when they can just Fiery Dance into Sludge Wave. So, I may have been a little bit quick on the draw with my Terraing. As you'll see, it is just going to be the Fiery Dance. And while there's a chance we could have taken that from full, we're certainly not taking it from the range we were at. So, desperately unfortunate for my Breloom. It is going to go down without troubling the scorecard. But what's very important is Lux does not get a special attack boost on the Fiery Dance. And if this is going to be Lux's efforts to win late game, and they're going for it, it's probably time for me to do the same. I'm going to go into Terapagos, the mon I've been the most excited to use this season. My Terra Shell is intact. They may not want to be staying in here, especially, like I say, if this is their end game option. So, predicting them to switch on out, I'm going to go for Rock Polish and try and get Terapagos going right now. And indeed, the Iron Moth is going to be withdrawn on Lux's side, and in is going to come the Quaquaval. I'm going to go for Rock Polish. Now, I would truly love to go for a Calm Mind here, but if they do stay in and just click a banded move, it's still going to do through Terra Shell quite a bit. So I don't really want to be taking that hit and leaving myself open to something like a Sash Darkrai living and revenging me, or an Iron Moth that's bulky enough to take my hit. So I'm not going to go for the Calm Mind here. I am just going to try and claim my kill with Terra Starstorm. As you'll see, that is what I'm going to click. And I'm a bit worried about Banded Aqua Jet breaking my Terra Shell as well. That could be a problem, and that is certainly not two hits I want to take through Terra Shell and then without it. So, in my mind, yeah, going for Calm Mind was not the play here, and going for Terra Starstorm and trying to claim the KO on the Quaquaval was definitely the way to go. However, Lux is going to make the switch again, getting out of there with Quaquaval, and instead is going to sack off the Electrode. So a Calm Mind would have actually been a really good play there. Unfortunately, it's not going to pan out, but fortunately, we do get a kill on the Electrode. Down it goes, Terapagos opening its account for the season, and now it is just a half-health Quaquaval and full-health Darkrai and Iron Moth to go, and it's going to be the Darkrai that comes in. Now, I did worry a little bit here about Hypnosis or Dark Void or any of those things, but at this point, I'm committed. My Terra Shell is still intact, and I have a Rock Polish up, so I'm outspeeding everything that Lux has left. And again, I don't go for a Calm Mind here, fearing that Hypnosis, like slowing down the battle and cutting short a potential sweep. So I am just going to go for the Terra Starstorm. Now, Darkrai has a good amount of bulk, so as you'll see, it is going to live this hit. Lux here going to go for the Sludge Bomb. I don't begrudge them that at all. They are looking for any way to just take down this Terapagos. They break the Terra Shell, looking for the poison that they are not going to get, very thankfully. Now, once again, I consider Calm Minding, but there is no sense in going for it at this point because there could be a Hypnosis coming. They could get more damage with Sludge Bomb and get a poison. So, once again, I am just going to go for the Terra Starstorm and claim my KO here and leave Lux with 2 mons left. So, the Terra Starstorm is going to come in. That is going to take out the Darkrai. Terapagos doing what Terapagos does best, setting up and getting KOs. So, it is 4v2. I'm in with Terapagos. Terra Shell is broken, but I'm at +2 speed, and now in is going to come the Quaquaval. Now, again, I am fearing that Banded Aqua Jet, but once again, at this point, I'm committed. I have to just stay in. I'm going to go for the Terra Starstorm. No Aqua Jets coming our way. That is going to take out the Quaquaval. Down that goes. Number 3 chalked up for Terapagos, and now it is Iron Moth versus the world. In comes the Iron Moth, a mon I've had problems with before. It is at full health. There is every chance it will take this Terra Starstorm, but once again, I'm committed. I just have to go for it. Terra Starstorm is going to come in and do a good amount, and in comes Agility. Now, they're obviously going to outspeed me, So now it just comes down to, can this Iron Moth KO me from this range of health with any move? And then Meteor Beam happens. I'd forgotten about Meteor Beam, and this has me panicking a little bit. I'm not a bulky Terapagos. They're at +1 from the Meteor Beam. The Power Herb is going to go off. In it comes, and Terapagos is barely going to hang on. Go for the Terra Starstorm, and that is going to take out the Iron Moth. Down it goes, 4 KOs for Terapagos, and that, ladies and gentlemen, as we see it return to its regular form, is going to be the game. There it is. Lovely. So, great game to Lux. We take a second 4-0 win in a row, which feels fantastic. Another revenge battle has been won. This is why I was so excited to use Terapagos. I wanted to draft it for so long. It is a bulky setting up normal type. That's just my jam. But yeah, I mean, Lux played a good game there. I think we talked about it afterwards, and I know that they knew that letting Sinistra go down when they did was not the play, because it might have had a chance against my Terapagos. But yeah, I mean, it was nervy stuff in the end there. I was committed at +2 speed. If I'd have got up a Calm Mind at any point, would have been in a much better position, but I was never quite real enough to go for the double dance and just sort of committed to the Terra Starstorm sweep. Which did happen, we were able to get it. Like I say, a bit hairy in the end game with that Meteor Beam, but thankfully just about hung on to live. Good thing we did too, because I think if that had taken out my Terapagos, that was just game for Lux. They needed that to KO, but thankfully Terapagos is bulky enough that it didn't. So, we are 2-0 +8, which is fantastic. Really happy about that. And, you know, this is the kind of division I'm in where I need big wins, because nothing gets any easier. Tomorrow, we are taking on Ellie. I've taken on 2 very close friends, and now we take on a third, someone I've known for getting on for a decade. One of my closest friends in the world, Ellie. Really looking forward to that one. We always have great battles along the way. We're going to bring some heat to this one, so it's going to be good. Stay tuned. I'm sure Ellie will be as well. She always does. Should be a doozy, so keep your eyes out for that. In the meantime, links down in the description to Lux and everyone else in the division. Make sure you check out Lux. They're a very talented battler. They are a very chill person and very enjoyable to watch content of. So go show them some love along with everybody else. But I'm going to get out of here. I've rambled on for far too long. So my final thank you to you all for watching. And I guess with that, I'll see you next time. Laters.